Professor Prafulla Kumar Mahanti, Professor of PG Department of Zoology, Utkal University, Odisha, Shri Nihar Ranjan Acharya, Director of Trust, to just take their seats on the dais and preside over the session. And also Mrs. Latika Pradhan, Chairperson of State Social Welfare Board, to just come on the stage and take her seat. Sorry. The creator of this world, God is to be worshipped first. Flowers, which are symbolized as a token of prosperity, positivity and vigor, is the best offering to the Lord. So now I would request to present here the flowers to the guest. So now I request the guest to present the flowers to Lord Krishna and just initiate the program. Now I would request to present flowers to the guests. Gathered over here to attend the seminar on building a violence-free world through reason and compassion. The father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi, defined non-violence as the greatest force at the disposal of mankind. It is mightier than the mightiest weapon of destruction devised by the ingenuity of man. Thomas Alva Edison described non-violence at its highest ethics and regarded as the goal of evolution. Until we stop harming all other living beings, we all are savages. The greatest freedom fighter, Nelson Mandela, went to jail believing in violence, and 27 years later, he and his colleagues had slowly and carefully honed the incredible skills that they needed to turn one of the most vicious governments the world has known into a democracy, and they did it in a total devotion to non-violence. We have nothing new to teach the world. Truth and non-violence are as old as the hills. All we have done is to try experiments in both on as vast a scale as we could. We learn to practice non-violence one step at a time, one choice at a time, one day at a time. Through our daily nonviolent choices and actions, the noble and courageous spirit within each of us expresses itself as the skills, wisdom and character of a nonviolent human being. This is how we each in our own way move the world in a direction of peace. Lastly, I would say, non-violence is not a garment to be put on or and off at will. Its seat is in the heart, and it must be an inseparable part of our being. The initiation has been taken by Sri Nihar Ranjan Acharya, the founder and director of True Rationalistic Union of Samaj Seva Trainers, abbreviated as TRUST, which promotes scientific temper and global brotherhood, the essence of Vedic philosophy, Vasudeva Kutumbakam, we are one family. With this in mind, TRUST, an organization of a few science lovers, inculcates scientific temper among people and dispels superstitions and blind beliefs by conducting many science popularization programs since its inception on 14th of April 2004, the 114th birth anniversary of Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, the chief architect of Indian Constitution. Horizon of thinking, inspiring young minds, humanism or Vigyan Ki Pathshala, science behind miracles, people versus global warming, healing touch, Brukya Bandhan, plan today for a better tomorrow, pre-Cheers Day, scientific temple at Dayanidhipur Sashan near Kunar, where all the superstitions will be dissolved, only science will rule. Yatra Narayastu Pujayante is a trust initiative to empower. So here I would request Ms. Swagatika to just start the inaugural sessions and the guests to address the speaker.
Everyone, non-violence begins by learning how to less violent and more compassionate with ourselves. We learn by building the courage to speak and act with the respect, honor and reverence for our own day. Now, I'd like to introduce the convener of this event, Professor Prafulla Kumar Mohanty. Professor Mohanty was the former head of the Department of Geology, Utkal University. Presently, he is serving as the senior most professor in the department. So, with this brief introduction, I would like to request Professor Prafulla Kumar Mohanty to address the House with his thoughts.
To all of you, esteemed dignitaries on the dais and off the dais, invitees and my dear friends, today is in fact a Sunday and I am extremely sorry that all the invitees and delegates and students, they have left their home or left their nest and they are all available here, and more emphatically speaking, they have just left their family and they are all here actually. I do not know what would have been the situation in the family, whether they are being scolded in the absence actually or they are being placed. I think that you can imagine prominently. We all are here to listen to all the dignitaries on the topic entitled violence. Violence starts with the family itself. I am violent to my wife. Probably violence starts from that point actually. When violence starts from the family, my children are learning violence from the day one actually. So, violence means, what is violence? It is something intensely forcible. Okay, so that is where, if you see that particular situation in the family, in the department, in the interpersonal skill, in the organization, in the institution, everywhere you will find violence is there actually. since I am violent to my wife and vice versa, obviously violence can be expected everywhere. And the question is, if it generates or comes out in the family, can it be eradicated? Can it be wiped out? Can it be reduced? Can it be minimized? So this is a very big question in our mind actually. So on this particular topic, we will listen to our dignitaries who have got long experience and vast experience as to highlight and enlighten us today in this particular platform. Incidentally, this entire program is being organized by the trust, the founder of which is Sri Niharanjan Acharya, who is sitting here actually. He is completely associated in organizing several functions, and his main objective is to eradicate or to wipe out misconception or blind belief from the society, and more emphatically, how these ladies can survive well against the torture of the people like us. That is his another side to eradicate some problems from the male side. Now, in my opinion, if you look at violence, I think the opposite of violence is probably love. I should be corrected, madam. You are more proficient and efficient in this particular subject. I am not an efficient person, the right person to speak something about violence or non-violence actually. But in my opinion, when we talk of violence or non-violence, there is another word which is allied to that one, or maybe antonym to that one, that is in fact love. Violence starts with the alphabet B and love starts with the alphabet L. And statistics are sitting actually, sir, I am very poor in statistics and mathematics. And if you look at this particular first word, first letter love, first letter L of love, the Roman value of L is 50. And if you look at violence, which started with the alphabet B, the Roman value of B is 5. Now it is you people who have to decide whether I should like love or I should love violence. That you have to decide. Again, if you go deep into the mathematics, you will find, if you look at the numerical position or status or profile of alphabets, and if you calculate or make a mathematical calculation, you will find love into 2 is equal to friendship. So look at the position of the alphabets L-O-V-E. Calculate the position actually. L is what, O is what, P is what, E is, say for example 5. So look at the position, calculate, multiply it with 2, you will find it is 108. 54, L-O-V-E will be 54. If it is multiplied by 2, it will be 108. And if you calculate this friendship, it will be 108. So love into 2 is equal to friendship, and obviously friendship by 2 is equal to love. What I have learned from mathematics from my high school. So whether we will love or will establish a friendship with somebody, or with my wife, or with my husband, or with my students, that we have to decide. That we want to keep ourselves away from violence, whether we have to love or we have to establish friendship, that we have to decide sincerely. With this, I hope we will learn a lot of things today morning from the efficient dignitaries who are with us. So thank you very much.
Sri Niharanjan Acharya, the founder and director of Trust, True Rationalistic Union of Samaj Seva Trainers. In fact, Mr. Niharanjan Acharya is a prolific writer and has contributed to many powerful articles in leading journals. He has given more than 500 lectures in various seminars in different universities in Odisha. Since 14th April 2004, Mr. Acharya on behalf of the Trust has organized more than 475 unique events in Odisha. To name a few: Building a Scientific Mind, Quest for Knowledge, Science Behind Miracles, Manthan, Divya Drishti. He has also taken some initiatives to empower women, to eliminate violence against women, and to support poor and underprivileged people in the society. To name a few, Yatra Nayastu Pujyante, Dana Uscha, and recently Do Kadam Tum Bhi Chalo in this year. So with this brief introduction, I would like to request Mr. Nihar Ranjan Acharya to address the gathering on the theme.
Present audience all over here, I would like to convey my greeting on behalf of Trust. In fact, the key objective of this seminar is to raise awareness of existing commitments and standards for ending violence against women, especially to create a platform for sharing ideas and strategies that work and bring results, to identify key areas and issues where consensus need strengthening, to foster dialogue and build alliances to accelerate implementation and follow up to the outcomes of this seminar, day-long seminar on non-violence. I would like to greet all the esteemed guests present over here and also my dear students. In a country which boasts of its glorious heritage, where women has not only enjoyed the equal status but has been described in the scriptures as more than the better half, if it has become necessary today for the government to create special laws and enforce them rigorously for the desired social and economic status to the women in India. We may be surprised to know that is this the same country, India, where our ancestors, sages and seers proudly declared Yatra Narjastu Pujyante, that means where women are worshipped. We may doubt to this statement when we come across the report that somewhere in India a crime is committed against a woman every 7 minutes. Every 54 minutes somewhere a woman is raped. Every 26 minutes molestation takes place. Every 43 minutes a woman is kidnapped, and every 102 minutes a dowry death occurs. Gender-based violence is a universal reality existing in all societies regardless of economic status, class, culture or any other diversity. So many women have and are experiencing this form of violence which has adversely affected their well-being as well as productivity in their homes, communities and places of work. This problem in a country like India is mainly due to the very patriarchal nature of the society and obnoxious cultural beliefs which suppress women and leaves them to suffer in silence. These inhuman acts have continued to prevent women from achieving their maximum potentials and compromise their physical and psychological integrity. Here I would like to cite my own example. My beloved mother, late Binapani Acharya, was murdered, and the case is still pending at Honorable Odisha High Court by WPCRL 549/11. This is not only a case of murder only, but it's a torture of women, but also misappropriation of properties of the deceased, domestic violence and many more. We two brothers have not enjoyed our rights to properties since the murder of our mother. The culprit is not arrested yet, despite of our several circumstantial evidences. Even High Court has also admitted. I am spending my precious time running after justice since long. The status of women in India is a matter of serious concern. The violence and crime against women has been ever on increase since independence. The problem is in fact deep-rooted, as is to be found in any patriarchal society, but of which India is one of the best examples. In the context of feministic problems, core aspects, that is production, reproduction, sexuality and socialization of children have been studied. In India's context, males generally dominate in all the four spheres, though women carry out major responsibilities in these four areas. The status of women in independent India occupies an important place, and all efforts are being made to establish the significant role that she can play in the uplift of her own self and her family and the society at large. Not only the removal of inequality and imbalance, but improvement in the quality and standard of life of the women should be our goal. Then only we may proudly recite once again the saying of our sages and seers that yes, this is India, our country, where women are worshipped, that is Yatra Narjastu Pujyante. Now coming to the theme, building a violence-free world through reason and compassion. We all want to see the world a better place, but how it goes about doing it is a very deep question. There have been so many people who desire to make this world a better place, but actually have the reverse impact on it. For example, if we would study the mind of Hitler, we would probably come to this conclusion that his creating of Holocaust as his instigation of World War II, behind that his motivation was to make the world a better place. It is said that there is no conqueror in history who does not justify his actions with this logic that he is endeavoring to make this world a better place. So the intention was definitely very noble, but what is the process? This world is not a unit by itself. It consists of 7 billion, 2 billion human beings, 200 million human beings like you and me. So when we wish to make this world a better place, we have to start with individual units. There is a saying in Hindi, "Hum sudhre to desh sudhrega." The world can only be as good as the people who reside in it. Now if we do not endeavor to improve the individual, how can we improve the world? There have been so many revolutions in history that were endeavoring to improve the world. For example, we had the Russian Revolution that took place, that threw away the monarchy and established communist regime. Now their endeavor was to make the world a better place, but the result was quite the reverse, as history let us know. And that is why in 1991, when the USSR disintegrated Eastern Bloc European countries, threw away communism, declared independence and became thriving democracy. And you know, democracy needs debate, not dogmas and superstitions. Democracy needs reason, not rituals. So revolutions are endeavoring to change the world without changing the individual. Similarly, good Samaritans want world peace. Now, when the individual pieces in the world are full of strifes, can we have the peace at the macro level? If you want the peace at the macro level, you have to have peace at the micro level as well. That is why, if you truly want world peace, you must have peaceful pieces. In other words, all human beings must become peaceful. Similarly, if you truly wish to make this world a better place, we must make ourselves better people. When we are young, we are full of passion about changing the world, but at the same time, we neglect ourselves. And as we become mature, we realize that when we can change ourselves might be one of the biggest battles. So let our endeavor to changing the world begins by changing ourselves. And now, how do you go about changing ourselves? We heard many lectures of great people saying that we should be more ethical, we should develop true values, we should culture noble virtues. But how do you go about implementing this message is a $1 million question. This can only be implemented when we cleanse our own minds. Values don't come from outside, they come from within. So the need to cleanse our own mind, and to cleanse those minds, we need to engage in training mind regularly to walk on better path. The path showed by great people since time immemorial. In this context, Sant Tulsidas says a wonderful thing. Prema bhagati jala bilu raghurai abhi antaramal kabahu na jai. No matter how much you strive to cultivate virtues, until you cleanse